Okay, this is my review of The Last of Us, Episode 8, When We Are in Need, Season 1. And wow, what an episode, man. Where do I start? All I can say is entertaining, but yet creepy at the same time. So we pick up after the Episode 7, obviously, where we see the flashback of Ella's past with her friend. And then she decides that she's gonna she's gonna save Joel, which we get a flashback in the beginning of episode 8 with her signing him up with Needle and thread, which I hope she sterilized. And I didn't need, and then that was kind of horrible in itself, seeing that wound and seeing her him being sewn up. Luckily that didn't linger too long on that, because me I'm afraid of blood and open wounds, even though you know it's fake. But anyway, she now has to sit there and try to find food and then medicine to save Joel, because obviously his wound is infected, so she needs penicillin. And then we go to this commune, which is run by a character called David, who is very religious in terms of controlling his flock and his people. And then his right hand man, a character called James, who we see in the beard, is the voice actor Troy Baker. For those of you who may wonder why that name seems familiar, is that he voiced the character of Joel in The Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2. So it's interesting that we're seeing some more of the voice actors from the video game appearing as cameos in the actual series. Now it won't be the last, because obviously we've got one more episode, and there's going to be another cameo of another voice actor from the game, which I won't spoil until the next episode. So we see that the communion is struggling because of one of the people living there's father's died, and obviously with him being religious and running the place and everything, he's trying to use the religion to control the people and basically keep the people in check, or faithful, so you kind of would, or so you would believe, in trying to genuinely trying to use religion as a way of keeping faith and all sorts of that sort of stuff, etc, etc. But then obviously we find out, or later on we do find out, a dark turn. So then now, because they're running low on food, they hear rumours of that there's been a lot of deer around in the area, so they have to go hunting. Ellie then goes out and decides to go hunting to find some deer, obviously to eat. She does. Now this plays out exactly like the video game, where she goes where you have to go hunting and trying to capture the deer, but you don't fully completely kill it. So you have to sit there and follow it, and that's when she meets David and his crew. So basically, she does a deal. Where she's holding them all hostage. Where it's if they can give her where he does a deal where he sits there and he says that if he can find that if they can find something to trade for the deer meat, and basically that would mean obviously that for her the perfect opportunity would be for her to find to trade the medicine that she needs to help Joel recover from his injuries. And then so he sends back James to go and get the medicine to help, which plays out that does play out like the video game in terms of what happens. But then here's when it kind of differs a little bit. Obviously, in the sorry about that, just run over I can. In the actual episode, they take the deer to a hideaway, to a little place, so that they can keep out the snow and keep warm. But the only difference between the video game and that is, in the video game, what ends up happening is that they end up getting attacked by this group of these clickers, and I don't remember if there's any bloaters involved. And basically, she has to team up with the character David to survive the onslaught of the clickers. Now this doesn't happen in the actual episode, which is kind of a real shame, because it kind of just shows that although I suppose they're kind of enemies, I suppose, that they still need to team up to kind of, you know, to survive thing, but that doesn't happen. So it's a real shame that they didn't implement this. So I mean, I'm sure they have their reasons where it could be, oh, it could be anything where it doesn't fit their story narrative, or it could even be pacing, who knows. I mean, unless we do get commentary on that particular episode. But she does get captured exactly like the video game. And then you find out that they kind of, well, they are aware of who and who she's and Joel. Again, I don't remember if that's exactly the same as the video game. I think it may be, but don't quote me on that. So, you end up finding out there's this little dark secret where you kind of find out, obviously, as I told you earlier on, that they need to find food, especially meat, to try and to feed the community. And you think to yourself, wait on a minute, if they're running low on meat and they just where are they finding this meat to feed the community before they've even got the actual deer? And then you find out their little dark secret of where they're getting the meat from. Again, I won't spoil that, but it is very messed up. And again, it is from the video games as well. Was really creepy. And then basically David wants Ellie to join, because join in the community, because he sees that she's kind of fearless and she's strong and shows strong leadership, and she's not afraid of anything, and he needs a right hand man. But then it gets really creepy, and for those of you in the UK who this particular character that I'm about to mention, you'll know exactly who I'm on about in the UK. Maybe not so outside of the UK. The guy, David, gave me this Jimmy Savile type chills down my spine, because it's just the way he was acting really creepy. And the character in the video game was creepy, and I don't know who's more creepy, the video game version of the character or the real life character in the actual episode, who was more creepy, right? And some ways I would probably say maybe the live action one, because in a sense that obviously the other one's a video game, but then seeing it kind of play out as a real life person doing it, I'm telling you, it was really kind of creepy. And kudos to the actor that played David, because he played that the episode really well, where he comes across as if he's religious and saying all this stuff and being a nice person, and you know, genuinely not having a bad body, but then being forgiving towards people and his enemies. But then, as I said, you find out his little dark secret as well, where he's not the nice guy in which you think he is, and I think that makes it all the more kind of creepy, because it's all super nice, and you know there has to be something about somebody that's acting way too nice, and then as I said before, you kind of see it. So obviously, what I did like about that particular episode is the way that Ellie, what I love about the character, and the same thing in the video game, and the same thing with kudos to the actress Bella Ramsey, where she portrays the character as if she's totally fearless and strong, and shows kind of good leadership. And although that she's got her moments when obviously she needs strength from Joel, as he's a surrogate father, she's not afraid to get things done. But she's strong, and again, they don't put her across like this help, like in a lot of other TV series or even films, where you have the girl, or even whether it's a young girl or even a woman, grown woman as well, where they portray them as being as if they're some kind of damsel in distress and they're weak and they need somebody to sit there to look after them and to rescue them. She just totally holds her own, totally fearless, and how she's able to get out of this situation herself. And then she has to do something that is very kind of dark in terms of the confrontation with David. Very powerful moving scenes. And then when she eventually meets up with Joel, again, he does some very nasty stuff involving somebody's kneecap and a metal pipe towards somebody, very, very much like the game. And again, Pedro Pascal plays very well, where he can play a badass, but then shows his emotional side. And I think doing the flipping between the two sides, which is what the Joel character has to do in the video game when he slowly warms up to Ellie. For me, it's kind of a really hard thing to do, but he excels at that. And then when he finally meets up with Joel meets up with Ellie, and then the words that he says to her when he hugs her up and he sees the state that she's in, man, it was a moving performance. And the chemistry between Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey is absolutely amazing. You can easily put someone in a cast, and sometimes that chemistry isn't there. But when you get the chemistry right, it makes the whole plot, the whole scenes that the actors have to do, even more kind of believable and more emotional. So again, as I said before, fantastic performance by Pedro Pascal, and I would say that this is probably Bella Ramsey, who obviously plays Ellie. It's probably her best performance in the actual episode. So yeah, it was absolutely fantastic, but a very great episode. And now we've only got one episode left with the finale, which is very interesting in how they play out that scenario from the game. Whether or not they do things, I know the outcome's going to be the same, but it's in what happens. But it's going to be the journey and how they get there. Will that be the same? So, as I said before, very good episode, and probably one of the best episodes of the season so far. But yeah, can't wait for the series for the season finale next week, and it's going to be a bittersweet seeing it end. But hopefully, we already know it's been renewed for season 2. But yeah, really looking forward to watching this episode. But as I said, the actors and this have been really great. My only criticism I would say is that we don't, in the game, you see more of the conflict for them taking on the clickers and the different types of creatures, but we don't see that as much. It's more drama based, I would say. It's more drama rather than action in the season so far. But for me, it's not too much of a problem, because as I said, the drama that we've been given, and the actors, and not even just the main actors with Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey, just all the actors in general that have been cast in the role, whether or not they've been in an episode or in the entire season, they've all been really strong in portraying the characters from the video game and still giving you the feel of the video game and the narrative of the video game. So yeah, I mean, that would be my only nitpick, but when you're getting such good high quality acting and good chemistry, can't complain about that. But yeah, looking forward to episode 9, which will be the season finale next week. So we'll chat for the review of that next week on my YouTube channel.